Before we start this latest episode of the Meeples and Miniatures podcast, a word of an apology. Very sorry that this is over a week late. It's definitely at least a week later than what we originally planned. This was due to technical issues, and the show you're about to hear, actually to give a view behind the curtain, actually the introduction and what we've been up to was recorded about 3 weeks before the interview. This is because the original interview for this show, we were actually talking to somebody else. And after we'd recorded the interview, I came to do some editing and discovered that for reasons that we're still not 100% sure of, basically we had some technical issues and we'd lost half the audio on the interview. Which was a bit of a shame, to say the least. So that interview just was completely unusable. And so it was like, right, okay, we've got to record another interview. At that point, I said, okay, great, we'll do it next week. And then Mr. Hobbs kind of went, we can't do it next week. I went, why not? I said, because it's Valentine's Day. Oh, I'd forgotten about that, says I. Okay, we'll have to do it the week after that. Hence, this interview, this episode is, as I say, coming on for a week, almost 2 weeks later than we originally planned it, simply because we've only literally just recorded the interview a couple of days ago. Sorry about that, folks. We'll be back on schedule next time round. The Meeples and Miniatures podcast is sponsored by Two Fat Larders, Geek Nation Tours, and the generous donations of you, the listener. We really appreciate your support. Thank you ever so much. The Meeples and Miniatures podcast, episode 242. War and Empire 3, The Dark Ages. With hosts Neil Shook, Mike Hobbs and Mike Whittaker, and guest Andy Cooper from Westwind Productions and Forged in Battle. This show was recorded between the 7th and the 21st of February 2018. Welcome to another episode of the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. I am Neil Shook, and on this occasion I am joined by our very own Welsh wizard. It is Mr. Michael Hobbs. Hello, sir.
Hello, Neil. Hello, world. Hello, Meeps. And hello to the Lardies. We had a name check.
What was that in episode 5? In episode 5?
Oh, did we? Awesome. I haven't got around to listening
Well,
yet.
He sort of says, hello, Meeps.
No, I had it all scheduled to listen to on my way down to London yesterday, and I forgot my flipping headphones.
Don't worry, there'll be no more spoilers. It's a very good episode, though. Anyway, hello, world.
Hello, sir. How are you? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Excellent stuff. And, of course, yet again, interjecting before he's introduced, it is, of course, our resident troubadour.
You could always introduce me first for once.
But that would upset the order of the universe.
I've paid for the second billing.
And besides, you got introduced first on the last show.
That's only because Hobbsy wasn't here.
Your point being?
It's just the lateral order of things, Mike, to be I accept it.
Whatever, yeah, fair point. Okie doke. Yeah, hello, Meeps.
Good evening.
How's it hanging?
Good evening. Have you got over your crushing disappointment following the miracle?
Can we not go there, please?
Okay.
What's that then? Oh God, you're not on about American football again, are you?
Carry on, moving swiftly on. Hobbsy clearly doesn't want to hear about this. We'll talk about it in about a decade or so. Okay.
What you mean the next time you get to a playoff game?
You can go off, people. You know.
Moving swiftly on. Yes. So welcome one and all, and it is another episode of this of the podcast coming to you at the start of February. No.
It'll be in the middle now, won't
It'll
it?
be the middle of February. Yes, it will. Yes. It's this wibbly wobbly timey wimey thing. You know, it all starts to get majorly confusing. Where are we? What? January's gone already, and already I'm so depressed and so far behind in my painting schedule for the year. Yes, thank you, Neil. For that encouragement of turning around and saying you should really publish your tally of how many figures you painted versus how many you bought.
Oh, stuff that. that's lunacy.
So Neil,
Yes.
have you actually painted any?
Well, I think that's for us to find out in the next part of the show.
Straight, yes or no. You don't have to give away any secrets. Just yes or no.
Yes.
Right, then you're doing better than I am. Move on.
Oh, I see. So you just wanted to so you could get that in.
Just thought I'd make you feel better.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, now we've introduced ourselves. I mean, you know, are we all happy? Do we all have beverages? Do we all have cake or biscuits or anything?
I appear to be out of tea. This is not good, but livable.
I got a tiny bit of tea left, and that's it. Yeah.
We are cakeless and biscuitless.
And nearly tealess. And Bible Black.
What a terrible situation to be
Terrible.
in.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick.
As we take a break quickly so we can stock up.
Yes, we'll take a quick break, and when you come back, hopefully, well, if nothing else, some people will have more tea, and obviously things work better if they're given a really hot cup of tea. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be chatting all about what we've been up to.
The eagles have gone. Britain lies defenseless in a cruel world. Since the birth of our Lord, it has been 456 years. What sins have we committed to bring this punishment to Britain? I speak, of course, of the Saxons. They came as allies, but now they seek conquest. The lands of the Britons lie ravaged before them. Blood runs red in our island. We need a leader to stand against them. We need a man to bring together the Britons in common cause. We seek a Dux Britanniarum.
Right, that's enough of that. Dux Britanniarum from Two Fat Lardies. They really are very good.
What have we been playing? What have we been buying? We might even have painted something. The Meeples and Miniatures crew reveal all.
The principle of generating small amounts of finite improbability by simply hooking the logic circuits of a Bambleweenie 57 sub-meson brain to an atomic vector plotter suspended in a strong Brownian motion producer, say a nice hot cup of tea, were of course well understood, and such generators were often used to break the ice of parties by making all the molecules in the hostess's undergarments leap simultaneously 1 foot to the left, in accordance to the theory of indeterminacy. You really don't want me to read the remaining 5 paragraphs of this, do you?
No, except for the fact that, like those scientists, we don't get invited to those sorts of parties.
Speak for yourself.
However, hopefully, you do now have have a renewed supply of Brownian motion generator.
From which we can work out exactly how improbable it is to make an improbable drive, feed that figure into the finite improbability generator, give it a really fresh cup of really hot tea, and turn it on. At this point, we will be awarded the Galactic Institute's Prize for Extreme Cleverness and get lynched by a rampaging mob of respectable physicists who've realised that the one thing they can't stand is a smartass.
So, what have we been up to this last couple of weeks then?
Well, as opposed to doing what we've just done, is reminding people just how old we are.
Yeah, yes. And why they should go and read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy again.
Several times.
Several times.
Indeed, several times.
Yeah.
Well, I think for a start, the person who has been away the longest since we last talked about what we've been up to should fill us in on what he's been up to.
Was that your subtle way of saying I'm going to go first?
I'll just make myself comfortable and listen for half an hour, shall I?
Indeed, yes, indeed. Mr. Hobbs, I think it is indeed your turn to go first.
Okay.
You have the floor.
I will try and keep this brief, gentlemen. Painting and modelling. I have finished my Rohan army, and I've started on the elves. And I've done 30 or 40 of them so far. So that's going well.
How are you liking Finecast then, mate?
I had to buy some... Well, I had 12 metal elf spearmen from the Lord of the Rings, and I needed 24. And the prices on eBay are just stupid if you can get them. But Games Workshop sell them. And I bought 3 packs, and then realised they said these are resin. And I thought, oh, it's going to be Finecast. I've never looked at Finecast before, Neil. Or Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a steaming pile of Finecast is.
There's our first bleep of the episode.
So you two now christened it Failcast like everybody else did.
Oh, I mean, as a product, it's lovely. It's nice, soft resin. Won't break. It's very similar to the resin they use in the Hawk War Games used to use. It's that nice sort of malleable resin. It's easy to cut and clean up. Unfortunately, it comes in these little sort of sprues with a gazillion joins onto it, and then every single undercoat has a little undercut support on them. So it took me 2 hours to clean up 12 figures, and then I had to pin them to stick them to the base. Then I had to, this is after I soaked them in washing up liquid and hot water to clean off the residue, scrape off all the bits, find all the little undercutty bits, get rid of those, stick them to bases, take them downstairs and put the spears into boiling water so they'd straighten out again. So yeah, it took me about half a day to prepare 12 figures. I am never buying any more Finecast. 'Tis crap. Anyway,
yes, that's a slight divergence. Please, please proceed.
I'm coming back. Right, now I've vented. I've been to 2 major War Games events this year already. We had, in the middle of January, we had the first of many annual EMS-Coms, because it's my mate Mark's 60th birthday. So we all got together and we did a massive, great Chain of Command game. And there was Jeff and Ty and Matt and Ralph My other mate Steve and Jeff from the Vonva was there. And it was all arranged by Mr. Hammond Jam himself, Mr. Jeff Bond, who did an absolutely
Hello,
fantastic.
Jeff.
Yes, he did a fantastic job. There was a buffet. There was a cake that looked like a World War One trench. Oh, what a day! A massive day playing a huge game of Chain of Command. Fantastic fun. So that was EmsCon. I'm going to do it again.
Mhm.
Um,
Excellent stuff.
and then it was Crusade last weekend. As I'm recording this, or 3 weeks ago, as you're listening to this, which was fun. So I went down to Crusade. Didn't buy much. Only bought a couple of dwarves from Oathmark and some ogres.
There looked to be more in that bag than that.
There was 2 blisters of dwarves, and there was 2 blisters of some ogres I found from this firm called I can't remember what they're called, but I'll put the notes in the show note. Which I got from Anstey's. And I picked up some 15mm Pavin from my mate Ty to go with my my sort of long-awaited Vietnam project, because he had 80-odd 50mm Pavin which were all painted but not based. So well, that'll save me a job. Got that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yes, that was EmsCon and Crusade. Crusade was good fun. As a customer, it was great to go there and actually find somewhere to park and get in. Nice, light and airy. I wasn't sure because they had all the games away from the traders, and the sort of games area sort of got a bit lost a bit. But yeah, good fun. I enjoyed that. I've been playing games. I've obviously playing Chain of Command, and I've been playing Arkham Horror and Lord of the Rings card games and Mythic Battles.
Ooh.
Mythic Battles is good, isn't it?
Funny enough, yeah, I mean, spoiler, yeah, we got Mythic Battles out on the table for the first time last Friday. So did you just play the intro scenarios?
Yeah, we just did that twice.
Yeah. We did that, and then we did the first scenario in the book. I suggest actually the first scenario one in the book, you actually give it a skip. But anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, it's a bloody good game, isn't it?
It really was. Yeah, nice simple mechanics, lots of depth. The dice mechanism for combat is a work of genius. You really got to think about odds and stuff and what you can do. But we will probably chat about it, so I won't go too much into it. Buy-in stuff. Now, buy-in stuff. I did, prompted by Mr. John Harrison, or BJ himself from Shield War Miniatures. I did go on I'm not going to buy any more any figures in January.
Right, so you had a miniature version of Dry January.
Yep.
How did that go?
Got to day 17, which is about 16 days long, better than I did last year. So, yeah. And the only reason I had to break my self-inflicted purge was because I had to get those bloody fine cast Lord of the Rings elves that I had to spend pigging days pigging.
Oh my word! If ever there was a set of miniatures you wish you hadn't broken your pledge on, those were it, I expect.
But yeah, so that was day 17. I've also picked up an invisible photo.
So how do you know you've picked it up?
It's a clear resin photo that they produced. I've lost it again. It's gone.
yeah. All right. So, okay. Now, I don't know whether the one that that somebody put on, which was just footprints in a base.
It's a beautiful paint job I did on that. I had to really, really, do a lot of work to make it look invisible. I think I did quite well. Took ages.
I mean, kind of interesting. I mean, yeah, because obviously, well, I'm assuming most of you remember the INAP.
Yeah.
Is it better than the INAP? Is the material that is used better than the INAP?
I don't think I ever saw an INAP in real detail, but this is just clear resin.
Oh, well, you wouldn't do. It was invisible.
Well, the whole point is not like you say
Anyways, I've got an invisible photo. In fact, I've got two visible photos and an invisible photo. Right, so I did that. Yes. I've ordered, I don't know if you've ordered this, Neil, the Conan Overlord Compendium.
Yes.
You've got yours. Excellent. Mine's coming tomorrow.
From overlord.net.
Yeah.
Oh, yours is coming tomorrow.
Well, actually,
cool.
something's come tomorrow. It might be Shadowhunters from Devil Pig. It might be that. So yeah, Conan Overlord Compendium has been bought. So that was nice of them to do that.
Yeah, I must get that.
You haven't got long because basically they turned around and said, right, order it. I think they gave you a week.
Yeah. I want to do that straight after this recording session, Mike. And there's been one other thing bought, which arrived today, which is very, very nice.
Yes.
I bought a big wooden box for Arkham Horror.
Oh, yes.
And it's the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen. It's a card holder storage thing. And it's made of HDF on the inside, and then so it's HDF laminated in wood and all stained, and it's got like leather straps around it and brass bits and a carry case and an engraved section on the front that says Arkham Horror, and it holds about 4,000 cards.
Yes, after you tweeted that you received that, I happened to put that in front of Mr. Hickman.
Yes. Has he bought one yet?
I believe he ordered it this afternoon. Yes. Oh, did you also happen to notice they also do one for Lord of the Rings?
Oh, I've noticed that, Neil. Don't you worry. That's...
No, I must admit, yes, I was going to, I went, so they do Arkham Horror, they do Legend of the Five Rings, do that? Oh, yeah, of course they do.
Oh, they're so nice, Neil. They're gorgeous. I mean, but what you've got with Lord of the Rings, you might want to get the bigger one, the £70 one.
They don't do the £70 one for Lord of the Rings at the moment.
Don't they? Oh, I'm sure.
I think they only do the little one.
I'm sure if you ask him nicely, he'll do one for you. Because they've only got to change the insert on the top.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I mean, okay, I do have a storage solution for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but it's plastic.
But it doesn't look anywhere near as nice.
No, it's a little bit of work. So I spent all day today printing out some dividers and laminating them, cutting them out and putting them in, and then worked out I haven't got any lamination sheets, so that's on hold till tomorrow. But yes. So that's me.
Oh, by the way, just answer the question. How are you enjoying sleeving cards?
Oh, what have you? What have you started, Neil? I used to be a normal person. Now I bought a 1,500 card sleeves over the last few weeks.
I mean, you got to admit, Mythic Battles does need card sleeves.
Yes, it does. And they only just fit in. I don't know if the rest are going to fit in. I've only done the main ones. I haven't done the Divinity cards or things yet.
But looking at the way I managed to sleeve it all and just about get everything in the deluxe storage box sleeved. It does fit, but there's not a lot of room.
Not a lot of space, is there? Yes. Well, we'll see how we get on.
Yes, indeed. But, yes. Okay, so, what do you think, Mr. Whittaker next?
I think so.
I think so. Mr. Whittaker, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Going down to London for job interviews, which was not intended to be in the plan, but sort of happened over the course of the last couple of days. Other than that, proceeding on with the Dux Britanniarum Compendium, I've just completely rebuilt the terrain and provinces table to incorporate some stuff Rich wrote in one of the summer specials that needs adding in, and it also involved doing a lot of research to figure out where he got his province names from and what's actually in each province. So there is some original content in there. Figures wise, about the only thing I've done is pledged for Annie's Kickstarter. Can't remember if I'd done that last time, but there is a Kickstarter out. It's got shiny Shield Maidens in. Of course, I had to pledge for it. And what have I done? Had a game of Star Wars Armada, which for once I lost, which is quite surprising for me because I seem to be fairly good at that. But Dave absolutely trounced me. I walked the objective ship into the path of an Imperial Star Destroyer, and the inevitable happened. It was messy. And the Night Watch got their backsides kicked in our own Game of Thrones Direwolf Rampant campaign. Again, poor Jon Snow. He knows nothing about strategy.
Poor John.
Yeah.
I also did the Annie Kickstarter because I had to.
Because she'd have had you if you hadn't. Yeah. Wise man.
So, any purchases other than Annie's stuff?
Other than that, no. Oh, I've assembled the sight screen from the Warbases Cricket Pavilion.
Nice.
Because we're taking Dead's Army to Robin a week on Sunday. So say hi there.
Are you going to Robin with it? Oh, cool.
Yeah. So if this podcast makes it out before Robin, look out for the sleepy little village of Wilmington Parva, whose cricket ground now will by then have both a pavilion and a sight screen as well as a pitch. We probably include rules for the British moving the sight screen as a piece of cover, shouldn't we?
That'll stop the zombies getting through.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I thought. So yeah, that was fun. That's quite a nice little. It's one of Warbase's nice little pieces of MDF engineering. It's amazing how they managed to turn flat bits of MDF into very quite nicely 3D looking models. Actually, hat tip to Martin, who is awesome.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oh, indeed.
And easy to paint.
And easy to paint. Well, in this case, yes. Although I'm going to try a little trick with this, which is I'm actually going to, given most sight screens, the frames are actually usually painted metal. I'm actually going to spray undercoat it rust colour. I'm then going to use a bit of a railway modeller's trick, which is you sprinkle slightly damp salt on it.
Yeah.
You spray it white, and then you wash the salt off.
Yeah.
Which gives you that sort of rough-laking metal look.
But would they have had metal frames during the war? Wouldn't they have stripped it down to make a Spitfire?
Probably not. It's early in the war, remember?
That's true.
We're talking 1940 here, so odds are not. And besides, it's probably too rusty to make a Spitfire out of it. It's probably been sitting in since 1912 or something. So yeah, that pretty much.
Cool.
Me then. Right. Okay. Have I played anything? Yes. Played quite a bit. Right. So since last time we talked, got another game of Wings of Glory in. A long time since we last played that, because that was a filler game at the end of an evening when we played our first. We had our first experience of Imperial Assault: Legends of the Alliance. Which is the new app they have launched for using Imperial Assault. Yeah, I mean that's generally pretty good. Takes a bit just getting your head round all the options for how the AI works on the Imperials. It will do action A or action B or action C, or it might do action C and D if it can do both, sort of thing. It just takes a bit of getting your head round. But really interesting implementation for playing Imperial Assault. So yeah, played a bit of Legends of the Alliance. Then last week we got to have another game of Blood Rage, which, funny enough, I won. Don't know how I managed that one because I was so far behind at one stage. But that was definitely the case of the first time we played it was when we played your copy. Mr. Hobbs. Funnily enough, we thought that would be a game that Luffy would instantly like, and he really struggled to get his head around it, which is completely unlike Mr. Luff, and so as a result, he wasn't particularly sold on it.
That's unusual for him.
It is unusual for him. It's happened a couple of times recently because it happened with Blood Rage and it happened with Scythe. It was like, I don't know about. I would have thought Scythe would have been a game that Mr. Luck would love.
Yeah.
And he's I don't know, so he's struggling to get his head around it, and therefore he decided that.
Scythe definitely intrigues me. It's on the list of things I'm considering buying.
It's worth trying out. It's really worth.
Yeah, I'm considering Scythe, definitely.
Yeah, Scythe it's an area control game with some interesting differences in mechanics.
Yeah,
very clever.
There's a temptation to go and say hi to Chris from Posh Games, who has just about every game God ever printed, as far as I can tell, and see if he's got a copy and have a tryout game before I spend money on it. But definitely, it sounds rather fun.
Yes, and then, as we've already intimated, I had a couple of games of Mythic Battles last weekend, which was tremendous fun. Really impressed. As you say, combat system is a work of genius, and you can already see all of the various different ways everything hangs together with all the expansions and stuff. And then just some of the narrative gameplay, especially where you have gods fighting one another and grappling and throwing people around and various other bits and pieces.
We'll have to forget game when you actually make it down here.
Yes, excellent game. Mythic Battles. More of in a second because I have to ask somebody about it. Then a couple of days ago, finally got to play a game of Galaxy Trucker. There's a game from the past.
What's Galaxy Trucker?
It suffers from a bit of rules overload. So it takes a bit getting into it. Basically, in Galaxy Trucker, it plays in 3 rounds. You have to build a spaceship. Your spaceship consists of modular bits. Okay, that could be engines, weapons, battery systems, living quarters, cargo storage areas, what have you. And they're all on little card squares, which are all placed face down in the middle of the board. And you have to build your ship. And all these bits have connectors. They either have 1 connector, a 2 connector, or a 3 connector. But the 3 connector is like a universal connector, so you get that. It does connect to a 1 or a 2 as well. So basically, the game is you race against time and against each other to build your ship. Then you check to see if the ship that you have just built actually holds together or not, i.e., if the connectors all match and all that sort of stuff. And then you go and fly missions. And during the mission, you can do things like you can get hit by meteor strikes and get attacked by space pirates and various other bits and pieces. But the idea being is you're attempting to collect cargo from planets and get it to your final destination. But as I say, in the middle of it, you can potentially get attacked by various different bits and pieces, and so you end up in a situation sometimes where a vital linchpin of the ship gets hit and destroyed by a large meteor, and half of your ship falls off.
That's annoying.
Suffice it to say, it's not the most serious game in the world, but it's an awful lot of fun. And I'm really glad I finally got to play it. It's a cracking little game. If you haven't played it, have a look at it, Galaxy Trucker. Right. And then finally, the other thing I did when as far as playing is concerned is that a couple of weeks ago, I got to visit on the grand opening day of Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. New hobby shop opened in Derby. Hello, Ian and Rob. And whilst we were there, we also met up with Mr. Andy Hobday, who obviously was on the show a few weeks ago, and they had a demo game of Gangs of Rome.
Who bought it?
Which kind of falls onto the next question, which is, have I bought anything? Okay, so And you can't tell. You can't tell. And herein lies the tail. No, well, yeah, it's not quite that bad. Okay, so have I bought anything? Well, since the last time we were on, I have. Obviously, Mythic Battles turned up in January, but I think we kind of talked about that. Right. So the Test of Honor Warring States campaign day is on in March, and I was wondering what army to do for that day, whether or not to take the one I've already got, or whether to do a new one. And it was recently been my birthday, and so as a belated birthday present to myself, I bought the new Ninjas of Eager box set from Warlord for Test of Honor. So I bought myself a box of ninjas, and then I bought some extra ninjas from Perry's to supplement them, because there wasn't quite enough in the Warlord box for the force I wanted to make. And while I was ordering, it seemed such a shame to order just one pack of miniatures from Perry's when you're ordering from them. So I ordered a couple of packs of extra civilians for Test of Honor, because I quite like the idea that they were using in Gangs of Rome of having civilians wandering around. So I bought loads of that. I bought a couple of packs to use as window dressing and stuff. So Gangs of Rome. There I was, minding my own business.
I don't believe that for a second.
And busy beating my other mate Dave at Gangs of Rome. Then the Rotter goes and buys it because Boards and Swords opened on the launch day of Gangs of Rome, so they had limited stock of Gangs of Rome there. And so Dave went and bought a starter warband and the rule set for Gangs of Rome. And I bought the Samurai on the same day. I kind of looked at him and went,
well, okay, time out here. So he bought the rules and one warband.
Yeah. This is his first mistake. He always buy two.
That was his... No. Smart move on his part. Because I know what's coming next.
Yes. Well, yeah, funnily enough, if I just kind of go...
You've got some busted up miniatures in a box, it sounds like.
That arrived today.
Does rather sound like it, doesn't it? And Neil's...
I've just picked it up from the post.
You succumbed, didn't you?
Funny enough, it contains a warband because I don't want my other mate Dave to be Billy No Mates. Mind you, it was even worse because since we came back from that, he's now bought a mob set, and we spent not a small amount of time discussing the various merits of the different bits of Roman scenery. So it's terrible when you work with a guy you game with, because all of a sudden there I am, either of us minding our own business, and we get a drive by from from the other side of the desk going, "Oh, you seen this?"
So, how's Dave taken to the fact that he's now a proper wargamer?
Mr. Hobbs, I did mention to Mr. Hickman and about your comment that it was nice to see him joining the rest of the world and gaining a lead pile,
which is probably bigger than Dave's. The Luffy's.
On the theory that Dave swears blind he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know that Kickstarter from Annie.
Yes, I'm aware of the Kickstarter for Manny.
Yeah. On the first day, one of the large pledges went.
Oh, God, what's he done?
Yes.
Yes. The man who had that who made that large pledge sits not very far from me, away from me at work.
Is that the large pledge where he comes down to visit and gets a trip around?
Oh no, it's not that one. It's no, it's the one below that. But it is. Yeah, it is the case of. I think you'd have to come down to Cardiff in order to pick it up, so it doesn't cost him an arm and a leg in postage.
Well, Saga 2 will be out soon. You can buy that.
I did mention that to him, funnily enough. I said, well, now you're all doing that. You might as well, you might as well go in on this. It's like, yeah. By the way, Dave, welcome to Wargaming. His responses to you recently are not broadcastable on a family show. Well, they could be broadcastable, but all you hear is either beeps or bird song, one or the other.
And the word off.
Something like that.
So which pledges are we talking? Are we talking Mighty Jarl or Ticket for Valhalla?
Yeah, it's the £280 one.
That's Ticket to Valhalla.
Yes. So yes, we are talking Ticket to Valhalla.
Woof.
Yes, that. I mean, that's how to.
And I'm not just saying that because Fenris is in there.
Oh dear. I like the fact that you've got Dave in your little community because he makes me look good.
He does. He does.
Clearly.
He makes me look positively restrained.
Yes, and as I said, with your little escapade on Twitter earlier today with your nice new shiny box, and all I had to do was point it in his direction and say, "You're not going to let Hobbsy get away with that, are you, Dave?" That's funny.
I really hope he.
Yeah, I've just recalibrated my Annie pledge for exactly the same amount, but I don't want that many Shield Maidens and only one character figure, so I've just pledged for the amount, and I'll pick and choose at the end because there's too many nice character figures.
Yeah, the character figures are fantastic in there.
There are way too many nice character figures.
I've seen a few of them, and they're fantastic. Really are great.
Yeah. No.
I'm doing something similar, Mike. Don't worry.
Indeed. Anyway, so yes, Gangs of Rome. I wasn't planning on Gangs of Rome, but it's just arrived. So I again, just gone for a starter warband just to begin with. But as we've discussed previously, in the same way that Venice is the third character in Carnivale, Rome is definitely the third character in Gangs of Rome. So you spend about 40 quid on figures and about 300 quid on scenery.
No, you don't. You spend 40 euros on the Streets of Rome printable tabletop terrain Kickstarter.
For those people who've got a 3D printer, that's all well and good.
Well, yeah, but there's some lovely stuff in that. They've just reached the Forum stretch goal, which has a market hall, a courthouse, temples, triumphal arches, statues, etc., along with all the other stuff. So they've got apartments, townhouses, walls, towers, you name it. They're just trying to break 6,000 euros because at that point they get the circus.
You see, I don't know, Neil, why you don't do Gangs of somewhere in Spain during Roman times and double up. Use the same terrain for Forager.
One also feels the need to point out, for the amount of money you spent on scenery, you could have bought a 3D printer.
Let's not take him down that way.
Let's not go down that particular rabbit hole just yet. Thank you very much.
Dave, if you're listening, has Mr. Hickman got it?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's buying more than I am at the moment.
Has he got a 3D printer?
Let's not go down that particular rabbit hole at this point in time, shall we?
Let's go down it. Dave, if you're listening, I think you need to speak to Mr. Whittaker. He can teach you all the ways of 3D printing. Save you lots of money.
Well, 3D printing for terrain, he's actually really good.
Yeah, fantastic. Go on, Dave, you know you want
to. Mr. Hickman, in my defense, this is look, seriously, mate. The next time when you hear this and come into work the following day, this wasn't me. Okay, this wasn't me. Just don't have a go. All right. I didn't put them up to this. Honest.
Yes, but you are our representative in your place of employment, so you've got to get the flag first.
Yes. And get an airbrush as well, Dave. A proper airbrush, and perhaps a nice big compressor as well for your airbrush. For spraying all the terrain you're going to make.
Thanks, guys. Dear. So,
I need to find mine at some point.
we have been talking about airbrushes. Yeah, that subject has been mentioned. I'm just trying to at the moment. Excuse me. At the moment, I'm trying to convince him not to buy. I mean, he's got Lords of Hellas arriving tomorrow. The funny thing was, we were talking today. I says, so what you got coming then? He says, I don't think I've got that much. He says, it's coming via DPD or whatever it is. So he says, I've got to be in to collect it. I says, I think I only bought bought the base box. I was like, yeah, really? I said, no, yeah, try it. And it's like, okay, so what pledge did you go for then? And he went,
the top one.
Oh, this Titan one. I went, Dave, you do realise that's the all-in pledge, don't you? You're getting everything. Am I? Oh, right. Okay.
So, dear listener, welcome to a new feature on Meeples and Miniatures, which is What has the other Dave bought this week? Plus, what can we talk Dave into buying this week?
Yep. Only you thought we were bad.
Indeed. Yeah, so that's it. And as I say, painting, I've actually managed to paint. So, bought and painted inside of 2 weeks, which must be a new record for me. Yes, because the Ninja have been painted.
Well, black.
No, come on, not just black.
Black's a very tricky colour to paint.
It's a very difficult colour to paint.
Speaking of someone who painted 40 Night Watch.
Yeah, yes. So painting black with 6 different colours.
Yeah.
Or at least 5.
Yeah, sounds about right. Well done.
Yes, yes. And at the end of the day, you look at them from more than like a foot away, and it's like, yeah, that's a black figure.
But you know there's other colours in there. That's all that matters.
Indeed, yes. So yeah, so that's it. So that's what me and my mate Dave, sorry, my other me and my other mate Dave have been up to these last couple of weeks.
Let's face it, your 2 mate Daves couldn't be more different where that's concerned.
Indeed not. Yes. Suffice it to say that that the teachings of Guru Luff fall on deaf ears when it comes to my other mate Dave. At least at the moment, he's enjoying exploring the realms of gathering,
running out of shelf space, bowing ceilings.
He's got all that to come.
I'll put it this way: the amount of shelving in his game room has increased exponentially in the last couple of weeks. So let's put it that way.
Oh well. Anyway,
right.
Shall we proceed to the?
Oh, I've got one more question to ask, which we were going to ask earlier, and it completely slipped my mind. So, Mr. Whittaker,
yeah,
what did you think of Mythic Battles?
Wouldn't know, haven't played it.
Why haven't you played it?
Because I sold it.
What?
I sold it.
So you put what in for what? God Pledge? Titan Pledge?
Titan. In short, a sizable fraction of a cubic metre of boxes.
Yes.
Which would not fit on these shelves. We're about 6th down the queue of things to play, so we're going to sit here for the best part of 2 years while we get through Imperial Assault, 7th Continent when it arrives, the rest of Legends of Andor, Dead of Winter, and Terraforming Mars. At least, if not more. And I figured that the odds, if I desperately have an urge to find out what it's like, I'll come and visit someone who has a game, has a copy of it, and frankly, I sold it for twice what I paid for it. So
that's understandable, and it was good timing because Monolith are about to do a reprint, so exactly. Perfect timing, mate.
Yeah. But seriously, it was going to sit here for so long and not get played that it was just going to be a ridiculous thing to. I suspect. I'm absolutely certain it's an absolutely brilliant game, but there are. Oh, I forgot to add Dungeon Saga to that list. There are things that we are, I think, committed to playing that are long campaign style games, and Conan, and I don't see it getting played because it's so far down the priority list beyond things that I've already invested a reasonable amount of money in, and quite frankly, having the money is probably more use to me from a hobby point of view than having the game. Sadly,
fair enough.
I mean, it's the frustrating thing is it's as I said, I am absolutely certain it's a brilliant game. It will be great fun to play, but I honestly can't justify having that many boxes unopened and not being played because of where it is in the things I've already got bits started with list.
Please don't tell me you sold a terrain pack.
What, the boards?
No. Did you buy a terrain pack when you bought your?
Not separately from the Titan Pledge, no.
No. Okay, that's all right then.
Why?
Well, because I foolishly didn't buy a terrain set, and I'm kind of after one. I mean, admittedly now the fact that Monolith have turned around and said they're going to be doing a reprint, that's probably not so much of a problem. But I foolishly at the time didn't buy a terrain pack,
and you wish you had.
And I wish I had. And I backed off from a bidding war on eBay for one. Because I went, this is getting silly.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean about the getting silly. I watched it getting silly for mine.
Cool. Right. Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Well, okay, so what we'll do, we'll take a quick break, and when you come back, we will have our special feature for this show.
The nation is vast. There are battlefields of old, great convention halls, and worlds of fantasy to explore. Who will guide us across this great geek nation?
Since 2010, Geek Nation Tours have been providing holidays for groups of like-minded people. Whatever your nature of geek, tabletop gaming, TV, film, comic books, sports or science, Geek Nation Tours caters for you. Visit www.geeknationtours.com for more details and join the great Geek Nation. Have you ever wondered what's going on in wargaming? We do too. So come with us as we go behind the hobby with the Meeples and Miniatures interview. We're really pleased to welcome back to the show almost a veteran of our interviews now. We've had him on the show and chatted to him at Salute several different times. It's Mr. Andy Cooper of Westwind Productions and Forged in Battle. Hello, Andy.
All right. Hi, Neil. You all right, mate?
Oh, well, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I was just trying to think. It's been a while since we caught up, and actually, I think it was kind of Salute that was about the last time we actually managed to catch up with you on microphone. I think it was. So last
year, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we got a lot to catch up on. So yes, unfortunately, Mr. Hobbs, who I knew was keen to talk to you about Byzantines or something like that, he's had to cry off with man flu.
No.
Yeah. So
I'm not an expert. I'm glad he's not here because I'm not an expert on the Byzantine. So.
It's yeah. I think they're one of his. I think they're one of his pet armies, and he wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. Well, first off, he wanted to make sure that you were doing them. But anyway, that's kind of a conversation for a few minutes' time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first off, just want to, I suppose the first thing we should do is catch up with what you've been up to for the last 10 months. Since we last spoke. So what has life been like in Westwind Productions and Forged in Battle?
Oh, it's been busy. It's been very busy. Since last salute, we ran a Kickstarter called Panzermech in, I think it was last February.
Yes, we spoke to we spoke to you about Panzermech. I remember at the time.
Yeah, so we've been running. We've sort of been doing the production side of that.
Mm.
And it's taken a fair bit longer than we expected because, well, basically just because we're not familiar with 3D print. And there was quite a lot of work to do on the pattern sets and things like that, so it delayed it a little bit. But we're in fulfillment on that now, so that's all been finished. It's all going out the door. At the same time, I've been working on Warren Empire 3.
Right. Okay. So yes, because you kind of sprung that Kickstarter on the well. You started teasing a few images back at the back around Christmas time, or just over the start of the year, didn't you? And then you sprung it on us. What about 3 weeks ago? As we were recording this.
Third week now.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So basically, it's just been Panzermech and getting all that sorted out before now, yeah?
Yeah, that's been full on, yeah. So, when I get a 3D print, it's not actually obviously it's not a full model of the thing. For people who don't know what Panzermech is, the 28mm World War II sort of robot mech fighting machines. It fits into our Secrets of the Third Reich universe kind of thing. And when we get one of these models, it's printed as a kit of parts on kind of like if anybody's seen or handled 3D print stuff, it comes on a superstructure, which is printed at the same time, which supports the model as it's printed. Now, all that has to be removed, cut away, cleaned up, all the sort of marks where it touches the model have to be removed. Any sort of mould, any print artifact has to be removed. And the material that we had ours printed in has to dry because it's kind of like tacky.
Oh, right.
It's like it's printed. It's kind of like orange ceramic resin, and basically, I soak it in alcohol. So down to Tesco, buy the cheapest bottle of vodka I could find.
What, seriously?
in a plastic tub. In a plastic tub, and then I just soak all the parts in this alcohol till it dissolves all this residue that's on the actual original patterns, and then I can start to work putting the thing together. So that took a lot longer than we were expecting, having never dealt with the material before.
All right, so that's the case. You're having to do that so you can then make do master molds and stuff out of that, yeah.
Yeah. So we can do like the resin cast and the white metal parts and things from that, yeah. So that's what we've been up to, and sculpting all the the various stretch goals. I think there's about 14 stretch goals for that, something like that, and all the product. So I think it was about 32 products that came out altogether. Japanese, US Marine Corps. It's about 10 mechs, various weird fighting machines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So we've been busy.
Yeah. Cool. So
and we should be releasing a bunch of that stuff at Salute, hopefully.
Oh, right. So following Kickstarter fulfillment, that should become available for retail at Salute.
Yeah.
Because if anybody saw the game you put on at Salute last year, you had several of your mechs on the table at Salute last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we had some prototype stuff that we'd had cast.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so change of gear again. Then it's going from Weird War 2 to 15 minutes. So change of scale. So back to Forged in Battle, and we're on to part 3 of War and Empire. So
We are.
So remind us what went before in part 1 and 2.
Part 1. Part 1 was the it's like Carthaginians and the Republican Romans, Macedonians, so Macedonian Punic Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And then part 2 was the Romans, so it's like the Imperial Romans.
Yeah.
So it's like the Wars of Empire. So you've got 1st century, the 2nd century, 3rd century Rome, Dacians, Sarmatians, Parthians, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, cool.
Sassanids.
Right.
And then part 3, which is the one we're on now, is the Dark Ages. So we're kind of, it actually begins, it begins back in the late Romans. So it goes late Romans, Huns, and then various other Dark Ages, you know, Carolinians, Normans, Saxons, Vikings, early Saxons, Arthurians, what else? Lombards. There's a bunch.
Palmyrans.
16. I could reel them all off. Yeah, Palmyran. Yeah, Palmyran.
Got a soft spot for those.
And we've got the rules, of course, which we've been working on for a while.
Yeah, hang on a second. Weren't the rules part of part 1?
They weren't actually part of the Kickstarter. We said we were working on a set of rules during part 1. And that we would put a beta out. So we worked on the rules. We got a beta edition, and then off the feedback, we got it didn't really give us the rules that we wanted. So brought on somebody else had to go at writing them, or rewriting the original set, and that didn't really work out. And then we're on our 3rd author now, which is Anthony Spencer, and he's written them, and we think we've got what we want now. So we're ready to go.
Oh, cool. So War and Empire, the rules.
Yeah, we'll see prints. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic stuff.
So the rules are designed to be quite simple as a core system, but it depends on the army as well, because each army, if it can do anything interesting, there are specific rules for specific units or troop types within that army.
Mm-hmm.
So there are downloadable army cards that go, say, with 1st century Roman, for instance. They get a rule called First Cohort, which gives the first cohort of the Legion special abilities in the game.
Yeah.
And various other armies have similar sort of things.
Cool. So, okay, so, as you say, you kind of listed, gave a quick list of what we're kind of looking at as far as the armies are concerned. So, obviously, as we've gone through the Kickstarter, you started, actually, this time around, actually showing YouTube videos of the sculpting you've been doing. So,
yes.
Talk us through, actually, what you've been up to, because it seems that you've been busy with just the sheer number of variants of miniatures and different things you've produced. What have you actually been up to?
Well, I've sculpted about 250 minis for it so far. It's a big range of figures, though. That actually, when we finish with it, that's a small number. I think there are 125 product codes listed for the entire range. And for instance, the Vikings, the Viking bonded infantry, they're kind of all different in the pack. So there's 24 models in there, and they're virtually all different. Same for the Huskarls and the Viking archers and things like that. There are a lot of variants, a lot of different models sculpted for it.
Oh, right, okay. So even in 15mm, you decided that, okay, we're going to have an awful lot of different variations. It's not going to be a case of, okay, you buy a 24 pack and effectively you get 4 multiples of 6 different figures.
Yeah, well, there are some things like that, like regular troop types. We only did it with kind of barbarian armies. So, and things were, let's say the Huns, where there are only actually 4 codes in the Huns. But you need some variety in there, otherwise it gets a bit boring if there's only 2 different horse archers and your entire army's horse archers, you know.
Yeah.
So every horse archer in the horse archer pack will be different, so your units will look on, you know, nice and varied.
Cool. So you said, okay, so you said 250 different sort of figures, and yet that's not the full range.
That's just the tip of the iceberg, yeah.
Sounds like you could. Sounds like you've got a major job on your hands, because as we talk about this, War Empire has still got it's running until the 3rd of March, isn't it? 3rd of March?
Yeah.
So at the moment, the next things on the list to fund are the Nicophorian Byzantine army. We've got the Rus coming up, and we've got the Carolingians and the Lombards.
Yes.
So they're
finally the Welsh.
Pardon?
They're not on the list.
What did you say?
I think the Welsh are the last army.
Oh, the Welsh are the last army.
Are the last. Yeah.
Oh, right. So we're pretty much on schedule to release everything then, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's hang on. Let's count up. So that's an extra 1, 2, 3, 4.
There will be a short pause.
7.
16 armies.
16. Thank you. 16 armies.
Yes. I was going to.
I know, because I counted them before.
Yeah. I was going to say, looking at that nice little collection of Battle of Hastings hero figures, you're missing Hero of the Wake.
Yeah.
If you want another little hero figure, Hero of the Wake will be good.
Oh yeah. Well, we're looking at doing. I'm working on some character packs that I'm going to put out over the weekend. So one of them is just Dark Ages characters. So it's kind of hopefully. Well, the one I'm working on at the moment is Arthurian characters. So that should cover people like in 15mm. It will cover Merlin. You know. We already got an Arthur because that's one of the stretch goals, but eventually Arthur will go into this pack when we release it. And it'll have a few of the Knights of the Round Table and a few of the characters, you know, from the tales.
I like the look of that Arthur, I have to say.
Yeah,
very kind of Bernard Cornwell.
Yeah, I like Bernard Cornwell.
Yeah, so, we all do.
Yeah. So a lot of my kind of. It's not research, obviously, but the atmosphere and stuff. I love the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
So I'm doing some Saxon characters as well to complement this pack. So it's like an opposite pack. So I'll have to steal some names like Hyella and people like that from the. I'm actually re-listening to the Winter King at the moment. So making notes. But yeah. So we're looking at character packs and stuff like that.
Cool. And in the same way as you've done with previous Kickstarters, as well as the 16 armies, we're also looking at we've got resin scenery pieces. What was it? Byzantine Church. We've got Norman Bottom Bailey. We've got a Saxon village, a Viking village, all sorts of bits and pieces, haven't we?
Yeah, and we've got some more bits planned for that as well, which we should have. Looking at a Arthurian stronghold, which is basically, you can imagine some Roman ruined sections of Roman walls and then some palisade and stuff like that, bits and pieces, making up a fortified encampment kind of thing.
Oh, we should do these in 28. Because frankly, if I hadn't already bet the farm on 28 for the likes of Dux Britanniarum, this would be really tempting. What is the scenery resin or what?
It will be a mixture of resin and white metal. So where it's palisade, it will probably be white metal for the palisades.
All right. And you're working from sculpts or from 3D?
That'll be sculpts, yeah. Yeah, we have a guy who does. We have a guy. We call him. They call themselves straight line designers, so he makes tanks and things like that. So he'll be making that. I don't got to make the buildings.
Those do look like they will be really nice. Actually, the Roman villa particularly looks really pretty.
I've got a nice piece for the Romans. It's basically an L-shape ruined section of temple, but you can make it if you use 4, you can make a big sort of ruined forum kind of building out of it. Or if you use 2, 2 and one of the other buildings, it's kind of all falling down. The roof sections are all falling in, and some of the pillars on the front have fallen off. All kinds. It looks cool.
Cool. Yeah. And then we've got, obviously, we're looking at things, villager sets as well, and so you can, that's looking really.
Viking villagers. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got Viking villages at the moment. I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, are you going to expand that to whether that's like Saxons and
I think Saxons are in the list. Actually, I think I made the mistake. For some reason, I didn't take that code out of the list to then release as an add-on sort of thing. Well, I should have done, but I didn't. So it's already in the list.
Oh yes, you got Saxon peasants. Yeah. Yes, I see. Yeah. You got Saxon peasants and Saxon civilians. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Right, okay.
Well, it kind of covers the might do. I was thinking of doing Roman civilians. Like Roman civilians.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We might do. We've got quite a lot to do.
Yeah. So we've got more individual miniatures than you can shake a very large stick at. So basically, you're making a very large job for yourself.
Massive job, Neil. Massive.
So how long?
Arcades,
how long does it take you? How long does it take you on average to sculpt a figure?
Well, the way I don't sculpt individual figures. I work on trays. So you've got to imagine that a 6-inch by 6-inch tray, and on that tray there'll probably be about 30 figures, and I work on 4 of those trays at a time. And what I do is I sculpt each figure on that tray a little bit, and put it under the lamp to heat, and then work on the next tray, and keep rotating the 4 trays. So if you think I'm working on about 160 figures at a time, something like that.
Wow. And how long does that take you? I mean, just
it's difficult to quantify because as they get finished, they go into a tray, and then I start more figures to keep the trays filled up, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
So as that tray fills up, as the finished figure box fills up, once there's enough for a master mould, they go off to be master moulded. In the meantime, by the time they come back from being master moulded, there's another master mould ready to go off to be master moulded. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when the stuff comes back that's been master moulded, I can use that again.
How many get master moulded at a time?
It's anything up to about 20, 24.
Right. And those take how long? How long does the master moulding process take?
It takes them about a week to sort of send them back.
Right, so you're doing about 3 figures a day then?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Okay, I was just kind of curious, looking at sort of the magnitude of the task ahead of you and wondering when you sleep,
Oh, well, yeah. Well, like I say, I've already sculpted 250 of them while I was doing Panzermech, so, at the same time.
Yeah. So we're on for how many, by the time you think you finish, how many different figures by the time you finish, do you think?
A couple of thousand.
Wow. Okay, so you got delivery estimate of December of this year.
December. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds tight.
No, I've done it before. No.
So it's basically
it's
the same sort of
thing
scope as it is with Rome, yeah?
Yeah, it's similar sort of size, yeah. It took about the same amount of time. So I know roughly how long it will take. Bear in mind, a lot of them are regular troop types. You've got all the late Romans, and there's 3 Byzantine armies, Carolingians. They're all quite regular troop types, though. So they won't get as many variants in the sets, because you don't need as many for Roman legionaries and stuff.
Sure.
Scutari and guys like that. It's only the irregulars that get lots of different models.
Cool. So, for anybody who was thinking of producing their new Saga 2 armies in 15 mil,
or Dutch Britannia.
Oh, yeah, but certainly it's all right. I'm thinking that I'm trying to be topical with the fact that Saga 2's just come out, mate. Come on, they're going to have to be a little bit patient before they can do them with your nice, shiny new 15 mils.
Yeah, they're going to have to wait till Christmas. Yeah. So.
Well, they'll be.
Well, no, sorry, Neil. Just to clarify, what we're doing is working through the product list in sections. So we'll be producing late Romans first. Because
Yes.
I've actually done nearly all the late Roman range is nearly all done.
Okay.
Apart from some of the command sets. So I'll finish that off first. That'll all go off to be master molded, and then the guy who's going to do the production molding will produce the production molds for those, and they'll go on the Baccaroni website. Now, if that's what you want, you can order that immediately and get it. The only thing you won't get is your stretch goals, because I won't have sculpted those.
Oh, cool.
Those as
Okay.
they go along, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if people are ordering back catalogue stuff from Warren Empire 2 and 1,
Yeah.
and that's all you want, well, you can get that right away. Well, I say right away, as soon as we're able to produce it. But you won't get your stretch goal bonuses, until they're ready.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. It does. Yeah. Okay. So we've got all these figures. So the rules are going to be 120-page softback book. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at production costs. I mean, it's going to cost you. It's a £10 pledge level during the campaign, or only £15 afterwards. That's not bad for a set of ancient spells.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, is it?
No, not at all. No. So again, so is that going to be is that element based, or is it kind of elements with casualty removal, or just to give some people a bit of idea of what they might be expecting?
It's elements with casualty removal. So units are kind of defined as they can be a certain size within the rules. It's not kind of you're not buying bases to build up a unit. The unit has a sort of minimum and maximum size,
Right.
and you just buy that unit. And then you can do things like, say for early Germans, you can add iron collar fanatics to the front rank and stuff like that. It's all, in the army list section.
Cool. Right. So that's that kind of covers what you're on about with Dark Age 3. So basically, it's a case of massive amounts of more 15mm. So, but by the time you finished, the War and Empire range will cover pretty much everything you want, from just after Chariot Wars till no, it includes Chariot Wars, isn't it?
No, it doesn't quite. Yeah, we just start just after.
Right. Okay. So but basically, just after Chariot Wars, right up until let's say 1066 and all that, isn't it?
Yeah, right up to the Manzikert, I think 1071. Is it?
Yeah.
71? So just before the Crusades start, kind of thing, and then if we did another one, it would be obviously medieval.
Cool. Excellent stuff. So yeah, and so it's not bad going for how long's War and Empire range been going? Is it 4 years? 5 years? 4 years?
It'll be 4 years, because we took a year's break, didn't we, when we did Secrets of Pandemic.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. So, as I say, that is currently funding on Kickstarter. You've smashed your stretch goal.
We have, yeah. We got funded in 43 minutes, which was really nice. Thanks to everybody for jumping in.
Cool. And so we'll put a link in the show notes. So if you're interested, as I say, go and have a look. Say one was different this time is you've done an awful lot of YouTube videos, haven't you? Showing all the various different miniatures you've been working on.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Cool.
Which has been interesting.
What do you mean, boy? It's been interesting.
It's been, I'm not used to doing videos, so I've had to sort of learn on the fly, sort of thing. So I've had various problems with video editing. I'm not going to go into it. Video editing software and stuff like that. It's been a nightmare. But
tell me about it. Yeah.
That actually worked. Yeah. And getting the format to export in the right format so you can actually see the figures and they don't look like fuzzy balls. So.
Yeah, the traumas of filming video for YouTube. It's people just think, oh, you point a camera and press a button. It doesn't seem to work like that a lot of the time, does it?
No, it's when you try and export the format to the format that YouTube can use. It's just a nightmare,
Yeah. Too right. Okay, so that's Dark Ages. Now, obviously, you've teased us before with other stuff that's going on. So, okay, accepting the fact that this is going to take up a fair amount of your time between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, it's my job for the year, this. Yeah.
Oh, right. So I was going to say, is there anything else that you'll be doing, or is that kind of it for now?
That's kind of it. I mean, it seems to work really well for us to work this way. It's just to sort of take these big projects on and just kind of bash through them and then release them. So, like I say, we'll be releasing Panzermech. We've got that coming out. And we've got a lot of stuff that's backed up, as you know.
Yes, so there were two questions that immediately sprung to mind. Because first off, there's this small matter of some 15mm Pacific War, which you showed to me, Salute, 2 years ago now. You showed me some painted miniatures of 15mm Pacific War, and I drooled all over your hand. And we have yet to see the light of day. What's happening with them, mate?
Well, they're all done. Everything's done. The main hold-up is the resin production. Because we don't do resin in-house, and we use subcontractors for our resin, well, we're kind of maxed out on our production. So that is the big hold-up for us, and it has been for a while. But, that's a business thing. We have to sort that out. So we're looking into getting it sorted out ourselves, essentially. So we're actually, building, buying all the stuff we need. But there's a fair bit of money to invest in that.
Yeah, sure.
You need vacuum degassing chambers. If you're going to produce stuff in volume, you need big vacuum degassing chambers, which are quite expensive. Big pumps that'll degas the tanks quickly enough.
Yeah. All right. So
that's the big blockage we've got, because we've got a whole bunch of tanks as well which we want to get out, but again they've just kind of had to be put on the back shelf for now.
Because you're just too busy doing Dark Ages. God.
I know. Yeah.
And then there was this.
I know.
And then from going back to Westwind in 28mm, you teased us cruelly last year with a poster up of your stand of 28mm dwarves looking not unlike early Imperial Romans.
Yeah, got a few of them lined up. Yeah.
So what's happening with that then? And is that part? That part of what is potentially planned to be a bigger kind of almost like ancient Rome fantasy range?
It kind of is going to be something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was scheduled to be the next Kickstarter.
Right.
But, we took the decision to do War and Empire instead.
Okay. So, all right. So basically, what you're saying is, I'm being a bit tight-lipped because I don't want to give the game away. But watch this space. Come our next Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I think that's what you said.
Kind of.
Andy's
Which we don't like.
Yeah.
We don't like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it's
I
know you're very much a case of right. Okay, we've run a Kickstarter. Let's get it all sorted, get it all fulfilled before we run the next one. But you're teasing us terribly.
Yeah.
Are we likely to? To see any completed painted models, or even just completed masters at Salute, perhaps? Because I know Salute's kind of the next big show that you're doing. Are you gonna?
You want to see? I'll send you some pictures, Neil. That's a
Woo.
you can have it exclusive, but not delete.
Because well, as I say, I just found it intriguing. It was kind of Roman legionary dwarves.
I know pipelines get longer and longer with us. That's the thing. It's if we take these big projects on, it just shoves everything else back. So really, I should take the time to sort of, get things sorted resin-wise and stuff like that. Then we can get that done and move on.
Okay, so that kind of negates what I was going to ask next, which is like, is there anything else you can tell us about? But I suppose it's a case of, well, actually, no, because we're busy.
Yes, that's it, essentially. I can show. Well, you can show. I mean, as we go on through the Kickstarter, through the design of Warren Empire stuff, we'll keep people updated on the Facebook page and stuff with pictures of the figures and things. Sure. And if they're a backer, they'll see all the new stuff on the backer-only website kind of side of things.
Sure. Okay, so the plan is that you're going to be head down and go with all the armies, and so you're producing them effectively in chronological order. Ish?
Well, it depends what we've got. A lot of Arabs. Let's put it that way. So
yeah,
it may be that you see late Romans and Arabs. So it's whatever we've got the most of, and then the other things are being worked on at the same time. So as they build up, so it may be that Carolingians then are finished before anything else. If you see what I'm saying, it depends.
Yeah.
Once we've got all the models for that range in place, then we'll just put it out there.
Okay, cool.
I mean, probably see Vikings quite early on because there's a lot of them done.
Yeah. We've seen quite a few of those popping up in the videos, haven't we?
Does the videos look okay?
Yeah, no, they look cool. They look cool. As you say, I mean, I'd say again, you're looking at these 15mm figures, kind of thinking, "Wow, they look really good." And
yeah, I think they look great. I think they're the best stuff I've sculpted, definitely. Especially I put a lot of effort into the Dark Ages stuff.
Do you like it as a period rather than ancients? Do you prefer it?
Yeah, it's my favourite period, if the truth be told.
I knew I liked you.
Especially Arthurian. I'm a bit of a fan of the Arthurian side of things, so I expect extra special attention to those guys.
Cool. We should have done it in 15 now.
So I can sit here safe in the knowledge that I own an awful lot of Westwind's 28mm Arthurian range.
I think quite a few of my hero figures are Westwind. I'm just not sure I can afford to do the whole thing twice in 2 different scales. But all of our listeners should.
Yeah, they should, definitely. They should consider it. At a scale of 1 to 10.
Indeed. So, I mean, obviously, I know when we talked a while ago, you kind of got to the point where you're saying, okay, with the way that you were releasing ranges these days, and the way things had gone, you were kind of gearing your business model around releasing ranges via Kickstarter. Is that something you're going to be continuing on with?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It works for us as a business model. Yeah, it helps us reach more people.
Yeah. Yes. So you found the whole kind of marketing tool side of it has worked really well.
It does. It is absolutely fantastic for that. Coupled with you got to build up a following on social media and stuff. So I kind of concentrate on Facebook for that for us. That works best. I do some Twitter and stuff, but
you don't do a lot of Twitter, do you? You're a bit quiet on Twitter.
I can't get my head around Twitter, Neil. That's what it is. I know I've got to tweet a lot, but I'm not a big tweeter. So I stick to. I'm better on Facebook.
Basically, from that, then what we're kind of saying is, right, okay, let's fulfill War and Empire Dark Ages. So effectively, we're probably looking. Well, that's Christmas, isn't it? Christmas into early next year. So it's got to be 12 months before we see hide nor hair of either the Romans or those dwarf legionnaires or perhaps Pacific Theatre. Another 12 months. Another 12 months. I've got to wait there, mate. What are you doing to me?
Well, I could probably get you some samples, Neil. You know,
No,
you're in the
no, I want an army, mate. I want an army.
You know what I mean? You know, I'll send you a care package.
No, as a Sammy, I remember looking at those painted masters of the of the Marines and Japanese a couple of years ago, and thinking, I need these in my collection. I mean, okay.
Nice models.
They are fantastic. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
it'll probably mean, I suppose, giving me, not releasing them for at least another 12 months means that I might get a chance to paint a few more bits and pieces before then. But
I'll just interject here for you, okay? The Japanese and US Marine Corps probably won't do that as a Kickstarter, actually, because the guy I've got who's doing the resins, if he has the time, you see, everything's sculpted for those things. As opposed to, and it only requires a little bit of mold making and a little bit of, it's the resin side of things for the tanks that's holding that up more than anything, for the US Amtraks and stuff.
Yeah.
So if that is doable in, say, 6 months' time, then we'd probably release that.
But I mean, let's face it, there aren't that many 15mm Pacific War Rangers out there. And
no.
I have seen yours, and I can tell the listeners that they knock the socks off anything that's currently out there. As far as miniature quality, and they are seriously good. So the sooner you can get those out, and I am sure that anybody who's got anything to do with World War II and any interest in Pacific War, they will just fly off the shelves, mate, because they are awesome.
Well, I'm glad you like them. Yeah, I mean, we make good stuff.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Slouch when you come to... Slouch when you come to sculpting these things.
We just get a bit stuck on production sometimes,
Yeah. Cool. Well, as I say, and Andy, anything I can do to encourage you to release those sooner rather than later.
Well, we'll see.
What's that? Give us a few £1,000 and we might consider it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of stuff for it. I mean, all the artillery is done. All the gun crews are done. The infantry rifle packs are done. Japanese tanks are done. Yeah. US tanks are done. Yeah, everything's ready. Yeah, as far as I can remember.
Oops, there goes my next being Shotgun campaign.
Oh yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Come on, I've got a soft spot for things that aren't Northwest bloody Europe and Russia, which is what everyone seems to play.
Yeah, and let's face it, there is so much in the island hopping campaign.
Oh gosh, isn't there?
And of course, I suppose, no, I won't go there, because obviously the next thing I'll turn around and say, well, hang on a second, how about British and Commonwealth troops for the Far East? And he'll turn around and go, yeah, hang on a second.
Yeah, back off, back away from the figures.
Yeah. Well, what's that? Hang on, I've got enough on my plate. I've got, I've got 200 Huns to sculpt yet.
I've got lots of Huns to make. Yeah. Lots of Huns. Luckily, they're all bald-headed guys with bows, so it's not too difficult.
Superb. Well, Andy, despite the fact that you're only doing one range at a time. Okay, 16 armies, but one range at a time. It sounds like you've really got your work cut out for you over the next 12 months. 10 months, 12 months, as you sculpt and get all this done for Dark Ages. Obviously, it's going to happen because the Kickstarter's massively overfunded and what have you. So you're going to be a bit busy. And I'm assuming if all goes to plan, if you miss the Kickstarter, it'll be available for retail about this time next year.
It should be, yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. And just before we go, if people wanted to back the Kickstarter, what sort of thing is available as far as what are the pledge levels and what do you get for depending on what pledge you back?
Okay, so there are basically three pledge levels, which are Warlord, King, and Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Warlord is your basic one, so you're looking at it's £40 pledge, and for that you get 96 minis. Then you get the King pledge, which is £72, and for that you get 192 minis, plus you get all the free stretch goal miniatures, which are all kind of generals and things like that, characters.
Yeah.
And then the Emperor pledge is £120, and for that you get 360 minis, and you get all the stretch goals for that as well. And that's the best pledge level, that you get the best deal on that one. It comes in at about 25% over retail or something like that.
Oh, cool.
28%. Wendy says it's 28%.
Just to give people an idea when they're thinking of backing as far as number of figures required for an army, especially considering now that we've got War and Empire rules coming out alongside this, what is your typical figure count for an army size for War and Empire?
Well, Emperor will probably give you 2 armies though, so you're looking at about 150, 160, 170 figures, something like that, for a big, that would give you a decent size army.
Alright, so basically, if you're looking at a King pledge, which is 192, that will basically give you around about enough miniatures for a single army.
Yeah.
Yeah? Whereas the Warlord is very much a case of that's kind of dipping your toe in the water.
Well, the Warlord will give you enough for sort of like a 500 to 600 point army. So
okay, cool.
The armies are pointed, so you've got 500 points, 1,000 and about 1,400, I think Anthony said, for the really big armies, which has kind of got, say for a 500 point army, you'd have one general for that. And for instance, we were playing 2 500 point armies the other day, and the Carthaginians had 2 units of Libyan spearmen, a unit of Numidian light cav, a unit of Libyan javelin men, 2 elephants, and a unit of Pawini heavy cavalry. So that is basically what you'll get out of your basic Warlord sort of pledge.
Oh, cool. And how long does a battle of that sort of size take?
Because about once you know the rules, about an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most.
Oh, cool.
Not long.
So a decent club evening game then.
Yeah, it's quite simple to play actually. Once you get into the thing, we've been doing a we shot about 6 hours.
And unfortunately, at this point, Skype decided that it had enough of behaving itself, and we lost Andy completely. However, we were at a point where we were just kind of winding things up, so we basically just missed out on kind of, the niceties of winding the interview up and saying goodbye. But at least we got the vast majority of what we wanted to talk about recorded. We hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. If you are, would you like to support us? There's a couple of ways of doing so. You can become a patron of the show by supporting us on our Patreon page. There you can give regularly every time we produce a show. Alternatively, you may want to give a one-off donation, and you can do that by using PayPal. For more details on both these options, please click on the Donate tab on our website, www.meeplesandminiatures.co.uk.
Well, that was a good interview. Enjoyed that.
Yeah. Kind of fun, wasn't it?
Cool. Right, so what are we up to in the next few weeks then, guys?
What are we up to? I'm being shot one campaign game on Monday, which will probably have happened by the time people listen to this. We're off to Robin with Dead's Army, because everything's better with zombies.
Which will probably be after, which will probably be before we actually people get to hear this, but never mind.
And
How was Robin?
Robin will have been awesome.
Excellent.
Bunch of very nice.
It's certainly a lot bigger than last year.
And they've very nice. Somebody said we should do Robin, and I pinged them literally mid-January, and they said, "Oh, yes, please. What do you want to bring?" And I said, "We'll bring this." They said, "Oh, very nice. Yes, please." So we're busy building our club game for Salute, which is going to be interesting.
Robin will be great as long as the heating isn't broken.
Oh, and by the time you get to this podcast, we won't have been to Hammerhead yet.
Of course not. No. Hammerhead is the next thing,
and it is the 75th anniversary of the Dambusters raid, so the 18-foot of Lino is coming out again.
Hey.
So for those of you who missed it, because it's never actually been to Hammerhead,
Robin and Hammerhead are two shows I am taking my other mate Dave to. So you'll get to hear the next instalment of the further misadventures in gaming of my other mate Dave.
We'll probably even get to see him spend money.
Well, he'll probably want to fly a Lancaster because he's an ex-ATC cadet.
Well, there you go then.
And seeing like I may not be there, Dave can be the surrogate me for the day.
Is he tall enough?
No, he's far too tall.
He's just
no, he's far too tall for that.
actually I might be going to Robin because Jeff, hi Jeff, he's trading there.
He is. Yes. Well, Jeff's trading there. Matt's trading there.
Oh yes, Matt's trading there. If you haven't booked your Operation Market Lard and Polo shirt and you get there in time, he'll bring it to Robin for you.
Oh yeah, excellent idea. Yeah, indeed.
Way ahead of you.
So it could possibly be a Meeples meetup in Robin.
Yes, which will have already happened by the time you're hearing this.
It was nice to see you guys. I enjoyed it.
Right. So, look out for me in the usual bright blue Peterborough War Games Club shirt.
Yes.
And look out for the two short guys next to me.
Which is pretty much everybody, because you're quite tall.
6'2". I'm not as tall as Luffy.
It's all right. Luffy's currently sporting his Kenny Rogers look.
Oh, is he doing that again?
Yeah.
Is he still wearing cravats and things?
Yeah. Yes, if he's coming to Robin, he'll probably end up he'll probably come in a tweed jacket. Knowing Dave.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
My biggest regret was the last time Dave went down this route. It was when Two Fat Lardies were doing their modern China. Oh, what's it called? Modern China Command game. That they did it.
I was going to say Fighting Zone, but it's not.
It's close.
Yeah. Fighting season.
Fighting season, yes. They were doing their fighting season demo at Salute. And several years ago, dedicated long-term listener to the show, Gary Strombo. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Yo, Gary.
When he was out, because he was out in Afghanistan, and he sent me myself and Henry some memorabilia, which included one of the hats. You know, the Afghan hats.
Oh yeah.
And
God, yeah.
And I couldn't convince Luffy to put one on because that would have just looked the part, and he flatly refused because he was completely unsporting. But that would have been funny. Anyway, by the by, yes. So it was. Look, I'm looking forward to having seen you at Wobbin or something like that. So yes. So we got Wobbin, we got Hammerhead coming up, and then and that's only into the middle of March. So thank you for saying hello at Wobbin, because Wobbin would have been gone by the time you hear this. And if you missed us at Wobbin, see at least some of us at Hammerhead. And if that isn't confusing, what will be?
Or has been.
Yeah. Has Hammerhead
will
happened,
not
yeah?
have happened by the time people are listening to this, unless Neil's PC dies or something horrid like that.
Indeed.
Cool. That's okay.
Yes.
Can we go now that we've broken the fourth law of thermodynamics?
Something like that. Okay, yeah. So, all that remains to be said is thank you for joining us. Thank you to our resident Welsh wizard.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you to the Meeps.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I noticed you've changed. You have actually changed your name on Twitter, haven't you?
Yeah, but I might have changed it back by this time. You read this.
Oh, okay.
I'm confused.
And yeah, well, he's become he was at least for a certain amount of time actually the Welsh wizard on Twitter.
His profile, as of the time of recording, his profile still said he is.
He is.
Yes.
By the time of release, it might be something else.
And
with two Z's.
Yeah, it's got to be two Z's, Mike.
Oh, actually two Z's.
Yeah.
Indeed. And yes, thank you once again to our travelling troubadour. Gig went well.
Gig went excellently well. Except the landlady had to rope in temporary bar staff because the bar staff for the size of the renter mob we all brought with us.
Excellent stuff. Well done. Great stuff. So
always worth making the landlady happy.
Indeed. Yes. So So thank you for joining us. And just before we go, just want to say quick shout out to the Cranky Lawyer, long-term listener, and just want to say get well soon, mate, and hang in there.
Yeah,
thinking of you, mate.
Yeah. All the very best, and we'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye. Roll good dice.
Bye.
Bye. Happy gaming, folks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, why not share it with others by leaving us a review on iTunes? And if you have any comments or questions, you can always email the show. The address is info@meeplesandminiatures.co.uk. And you can also visit our webpage, where you'll find a complete episode archive, all the View from the Veranda podcasts, rules reviews, and our blog of hobby items and news, which is updated several times a week. This is also where you'll find the links to our presence on social media. And here you can follow us on Twitter or join our Facebook group. And finally, here you can also find details should you wish to support us by making a donation to the podcast. All this on the Meeples and Miniatures website, www.meeplesandminiatures.co.uk. The Meeples and Miniatures podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.